CII India Nordic Baltic Business Conclave, distinguished corporate leaders from companies from the Nordic Baltic region, friends. A very warm welcome to all our distinguished ministers, excellencies, ambassadors. And I must say, I'm truly impressed at the very high quality of participation in this creating partnerships for future conference. And I was just running through the agenda, the two-day business conclave sessions that you've had. And I must say it's been very beautifully crafted. Compliments to Dinesh, Chandrajit, and the entire CII team, along with all the member Nordic Baltic states, for putting together such a wide agenda covering topics of mutual interest and areas where I believe we can significantly expand our sambandh, which in Sweden is also relationship, and in Hindi also stands for relationships. I think this is a great opportunity for us to expand the sambandh between the Nordic Baltic states and India and make sure it is as sweet as sukkar. You also call sugar sukkar, as do we. We call it shakar. So we have a relationship which will be as sweet as sugar, which we hope to expand with all our friends from the Nordic Baltic states. I'm told there's a lot of interest for Indian cuisine or Bollywood, also possibly yoga these days, expanding in some of your countries. That reminds me of the good old days when we were in school or college, growing up through the years of ABBA. I only wonder why Mamma Mia was shot in Greece, not in one of your lovely countries. But it's truly interesting to see how we are working towards the shared prosperity of your countries, your region, and India. Clearly, as was articulated by earlier speakers, there's a significant difference between the two regions. It's not only the size of population, which is chalk and cheese. And I was just explaining to our friend from the Faroe Islands that we have more people living about 200 meters around this where we are right now than the entire population of the Faroe Islands possibly. But it's, as you rightly pointed out, sir, it's the quality of engagement that we need to focus on. We are in active dialogue with the European Union for a free trade agreement. We're also in active dialogue with EFTA, and at least two of the countries here are members of EFTA. And I do believe both of these are eminently doable and will significantly help us expand our engagement, not only in trade in goods and services, but in investments, in transferring new opportunities, be it tourism, be it technology, be it our work together on innovation, expanding the green engagement to look at cleaner energies powering India's growth story, as you have successfully done in your countries, using artificial intelligence or blockchain-led new products, financial products or other products, except cryptocurrencies. But we do believe there's a lot we can do together. But I think it's important that you act as our ambassadors in the EU and EFTA to help them understand of certain very important and significant differences between the two trading partners or two set of regions engaging with each other, both EFTA and EU. And unless this is understood by the member countries of EFTA and EU, it will be very difficult to look at really concluding a high quality but fair, balanced, and equitable arrangement between us. It's important to recognize that when we are looking at 1.4 billion people, and when we have to look at the future of 1.4 billion people, their jobs, their work opportunities, their needs for a better quality of life, the aspirations of 1.4 billion people. And when we are starting off with a very low per capita income base of barely $2,500 compared to your countries with a small population, already having received the basic needs of life sufficiently and more, your population with a per capita income already in excess of $60,000, $70,000 in most of these countries' cases, we are looking at two very different futures. We are looking at how we are going to be able to mesh the intricacies or the difficulties of very, very different geographies, very, very different starting points from where you are starting today, if we look at expanding our trade and our engagement, and where India is kicking off from. And until that is respected and recognized, it would be a very unfair situation. If you don't mind by being a little more specific in my suggestions, look at the very different interests that Norway would have in your fisheries compared to India. It's very, very different situations. Norway barely has, I'm given to understand, 6,000 odd fishermen. But over those 6,000 fishermen, the amount that is invested in subsidizing their work is many times over what a country like India is providing as support to nearly 4 million fishermen. 4 million do not get the kind of support that you would be giving to 6,000 fishermen. What Indians would be doing currently is almost artisanal or very basic fishing in the near shore areas. What you would be doing is deep sea fishing with the most modern technologies. And when we are expected to compete, it's not an equal competition. It's completely different levels of engagement that the two countries would be looking at. And that's where the standoff then comes in, when we are trying to settle, let's say, a fisheries agreement at the WTO. Why I'm articulating this to this set of people here sitting from the business world is the same goes down when we are looking at engaging in new technologies, in innovation, in green technologies, supporting renewable energy, hoping to become net zero in a fast-track fashion. And therefore, unless this message is well understood and articulated in your politics also, it's not just a situation where one can say that free trade is good for growth. Obviously, it's good for growth. But that free trade has an overlay of equal opportunity. It has an overlay of starting the race from the right point, from the same point. And when you are starting from two different points, then obviously that free trade has to have enough opportunity to catch up, enough opportunity to have an equal level or a level playing field from which one can look at free trade or open borders. And I think that's where businesses also will be looking. One of the reasons we have not been able to do free trade agreements with the developed world in the past was a very close thinking in terms of our ability to open the Indian market to the Western world or to the developed world. India is also evolving in its thinking. We are now opening our borders to greater degree of international engagement. We are even looking at engagement on very high-tech products, looking at engagement on green technologies, areas where, of course, the Nordic Baltic states have an edge in terms of new products, new innovations, new technologies, which we would like to benefit from significantly. But we also believe we can offer to your countries a very large domestic market in India, as well as ability to produce at scale, at enjoying the fruits of economies of scale when you produce in India, not only to get the benefit of the large Indian market, but also to benefit from a large global market where your competitiveness will significantly increase if you produce in India, given the high quality of talent, high quality of managerial inputs or managerial skill sets that you will get in India, along with the competitiveness that will come from low level of wages or low level of manpower costs. So I do believe that today India's population, rich in its aspirations, aspiring for a better quality of life, aspiring for the good things of life, which they see on their smartphones, a set of people who are interconnected with the world. Today I was looking at the number of mobile phone users who have a smartphone, and the number is only 931 million who have a smartphone in India. And imagine if Nokia had not lost out on that market to a non-transparent or opaque trading system. Can you imagine the business they would have done in India? But when we talk of free trade, you must also recognize that your economies are happy to accept goods even from a non-transparent, opaque trading system because it suits you. It suits you to get those low-cost products to meet the needs of your people, of your economy. And you've done that at the cost of killing your own domestic manufacturing. Almost subcontracted all of it to another geography. Which also, incidentally, did not give your products full access. Which stopped Facebook from coming there. Which didn't allow many of your technological innovations to benefit from their large market. Unlike India, which welcomes your companies, welcomes your technologies, welcomes you to come and manufacture in India, welcomes you to come and exploit your innovations and technologies in India for the benefit of your economy and for the benefit of 1.4 billion people. So I think it's a partnership that will need some calibration, particularly on your end, to allow that transition period so that the Indian economy also grows, the people of India get a chance to be able to reach a reasonable level. I'm not even saying that we have to come at par with the Nordic, Baltic or the European states, countries, economies. But really we'll have to support each other so that we get that transition period to be able to reach a situation where we don't hurt the interests of 1.4 billion people by opening up too fast to technologies and trade which can come and kill domestic manufacturing or kill the ability of India also to meet the needs of 1.4 billion people, largely a young population, largely a set of young boys and girls who want to work hard, who want to contribute to India's economy and to the global economy, but could possibly be deprived of that opportunity due to the influx of products made in countries particularly, which very often get routed through your region into India and hurt India's domestic interests. So you may have a very free economy and a free opportunity for other countries to supply goods and services in your economies, because you don't have large populations to worry about. We have. You don't have large populations to worry about your agricultural output. We have both a large agriculture-based economy supporting nearly 45-50% of our population, and therefore we need to support them on the one hand and ensure the food security of 1.4 billion people on the other hand. So I think these are the areas which ultimately will help businesses to grow in India, help your businesses, your companies also to grow their presence in India and to grow their contribution both to your economy and to our economy. If we work with this understanding of the two different sets of situations or circumstances, I think we can ride on trade, we can grow our tourism, we can expand our technological engagements, we can look at talent from India supporting you. It can truly be an all-encompassing relationship and engagement, and therefore I do invite your companies to come showcase the best that you have, come participate with Indian companies or on your own. I mean, we don't even insist on any of you having Indian partners. But I do wish to see that when your companies come and invest in India, when they come and do business in India, it's not with the singular objective of, let's say, serving only the India market, but it's with the objective of also producing in India for you to look at the larger global market where your competitiveness will improve, where you'll come to a position where economies of scale, leveraging the large Indian market, will help you become more competitive in the rest of the world and help your businesses grow, help your profits grow. We have a number of large exhibitions or conventions being held in the next 3-4 months on different subjects. We have a large textile exhibition from 26th to 29th of February. It'll be the world's largest textile show. It'll have about 3,500-4,000 exhibitors from 30-40 countries, including a large number of them from India. We'll have possibly 40,000 odd business visitors coming here, and it's going to be over 2.2 million square feet, possibly the largest from farm to fiber to fabric to fashion to foreign international engagement. So we'll invite your companies to either participate in that, your machinery suppliers, your textile companies, your fashion companies are all welcome to participate in that, and also for you to send business delegations to come and get an experience of what India has to offer. Similarly, we have a plan to have a large auto fair, a mobility show from 1st to 3rd of February. Both are being held in Delhi. We'll invite your companies to participate. I can see Kamal Bali from Volvo. I hope he's having a big presence in the mobility show being planned. We also have a very large food show. I think that's also around first week of February or thereabouts. We'll invite your companies to participate and help us savor some of the delicacies that you have to offer, or some of the machineries and technologies on food processing, including salmon from Faroe Islands, to come and showcase what you have to offer in India. So a number of opportunities for us to collaborate in these large expositions, which will help you to reach a larger audience in India, even much larger than the 400-500 companies who have participated over this 2-day conference. Our exports bilaterally, exports to your region and imports from your region are growing. But when I look at the aggregate numbers, I find them really very, very small. I think the potential should be much larger. I think we have a number of Swedish and Finnish companies working in India, also from Denmark. Frank, I won't let you down. But I do believe that the potential is much more. I do believe that I can clearly see that that many of your companies who are working in India are only focused on the India market. They are not yet looking at the global markets where they can become more competitive using India as a base and technologies which you have already developed. Now those technologies are there. It's like a train ticket or a plane ticket or a hotel room. Every passing moment gone by, the hotel room has lost its shelf life, or the technology is losing its shelf life as each day passes. The faster you exploit it, to scale, and the faster you produce large volumes and sell to the world, the better it is for your technologies. And I'd like to offer India as that base which can help you engage with the world. We already have large ambitions on our clean energy program. We hope to grow to 500 gigawatt. I believe the ramp up in the next 7 years is going to be one of the fastest the world has ever seen. But even with that, we'll barely be adding enough electricity supply in terms of kilowatt hour to support the growth of India's energy demand. We are growing 8 to 9% in our electricity consumption every year. Now bear in mind, we are the fastest growing large economy. My economy is expected to grow from 3.5 trillion today to 35 trillion in less than 30 years. So I'll be adding $30 trillion in less than 30 years to the Indian economy to meet the needs of 1.4 billion people. And a young population. The average age of an Indian is 28 point something. And for the next 30 years, will be an under 30 population. Now I'm giving you these statistics only for you to figure out what is the large opportunity that's waiting in the wings for you. And I invite all of you to participate in this large opportunity. I invite all of you to participate in so many different areas, be it pharmaceuticals, be it IT, be it AI, be it IoT, be it our active possibilities on the marine side, be it the exploration of the seas and the oceans, be it electric vehicles, where I see India rapidly adopting electric vehicles. We want to quickly cut down on our crude oil imports, and I think electric vehicles will catch up like wildfire in the months and years to come. I almost suspect that in the next 2 or 3 years, at least on two-wheelers, we'll be probably selling only electric vehicles. And even four-wheelers, the ICE engine, I'm sorry, Kamal, if your company gets affected, but the ICE engine is going to go into the ice age very soon. And God willing, we will be at the forefront of the global effort to fight against the impact of climate change. We are going to be a part of the solution, not the problem. And I do hope we can all work together, taking the big leap of faith, taking the opportunities available to the very next level at the earliest possible opportunity. It's never too early to begin. We are already at a stage where if I would have to conclude my talk, I can only say that business persons who are here or those who may not be here but would take back the message through you, that the time was yesterday. We are already 1 day late. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And before we close the session, I'd like to request the Honorable Minister to hand over a token of appreciation to all our esteemed guests here on the dais. May I request all the dignitaries on the dais to please step forward for a photo opportunity. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of the session for today. We'll see you all back here tomorrow morning. Request you all to join us for dinner, please. Thank you.